The man who would be the MCU's Spider-Man didn't start his road to fame on the big screen or the small one. He was one of many children who went through the rigorous training process to appear in the Billy Elliot musical. The skills that he earned there proved to be his ace in the hole. His acrobatic abilities, including being able to backflip in the audition, landed him the coveted role as Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So what do you do when you skyrocket from a star of the stage to one of the biggest names in Hollywood worth $15 million? Well, you buy a lot of cars, of course. Seriously, Tom went from appearing in Audi commercials to owning a fleet of Audis. His garage has included an Audi RS7 for $115,000, an Audi Q7 for $56,895, an Audi RS7 Sportback for $114,000, and an Audi R8 for $145,000. The Sportback is obviously the best one since it was basically made to look like a Spider-Man commercial. I mean, it even had Spider-Man on the front license plate. No Way Home is getting hyped up to be the biggest Spider-Man movie of all time. I mean, they even went so far as to say it's basically Spider-Man Endgame. So does this mean a new Audi is in the future? Right now, it seems like the only thing Marvel and Sony can agree on is that they want to convince the reluctant Tom Holland to be Spider-Man for the rest of his life. Something tells me the final verdict is going to have a lot to do with how that Uncharted movie goes. While landing a job in a Spider-Man movie has been great for a lot of actors, it didn't exactly do Jamie Foxx any favors when he appeared in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Luckily, he's getting another shot as Electro in No Way Home. So how has he spent the $150 million he's amassed over the years? Well, naturally on an epic car collection. They include a Bugatti Veyron worth $2 million, a $185,000 Resvani van that looks like a frickin' Batmobile, and a slick Vanderhall Venice worth $33,000. They join other rides like his Lamborghini Gallardo worth up to $200,000, the McLaren 570S worth $191,000, and his Porsche Boxster worth $100,100. Chances are that Fox's fleet is only going to increase in prestige after No Way Home drops. Long before the MCU was making Spider-Man flicks, the webhead was swinging through the big screen courtesy of director Sam Raimi and the OG Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire. Right now, no one's sure if Tobey Maguire is in No Way Home, but I refuse to believe he's not. Before Spider-Man, Tobey was just that kid from Pleasantville, and since Spider-Man, the only thing he's been is the guy from Great Gatsby who wasn't Leonardo DiCaprio. Maguire has amassed $75 million over a very busy career. He's most known for driving around in his Mercedes S400 worth over $100,000. Why is he most known for driving that car? Well, it isn't for a nice reason. Video footage of Maguire driving the Mercedes in front of paparazzi has become more famous than his performance in Seabiscuit. While the actor almost always plays super soft nice guys, apparently when confronted by hundreds of flashing cameras, he loses it. He cursed the paparazzi out, which seemed like a compromise from his first instinct, which looked like he wanted to run them down. After finding out the kind of person Tobey is in real life, it makes me even more impressed with his acting skill. I mean, his Peter Parker is the nicest, most mild-mannered of the bunch. One of the best additions to the MCU has been Doctor Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch. Benedict Bandersnatch. Benedict Cumberbatch. Third time's the try. Sherlock led Cumberbatch to $40 million that he obviously spent on a few fine cars. I mean, I think it's illegal not to. These include a Jaguar F-Type worth $73,100, a Jaguar XJ worth $151,000, a Mercedes S-Class worth over $300,000, an MG GS worth $20,000, and a Lamborghini Urus 4x4 worth $468,000. If he doesn't call his garage the Sanctum Sanctorum, I would be very disappointed. He even got to show off his driving skills in an episode of Top Gear. He's a surprisingly competitive guy, so much so that I'm pretty sure he almost drove off the road on his last lap. I don't know how much of a career he has left considering he went so method for the power of the dog that he gave himself nicotine poisoning 3 times. Seriously, Doctor Strange, you think that the first 2 times would have been enough? It makes me really sad that Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man franchise got cut down before its time. I mean, those aren't the best Spidey films, but Garfield seems like such a genuinely nice guy. From showing up to Comic-Con dressed as Spidey to his enthusiastic interviews, it seemed like this was a dream come true for the Social Network star. I'm really hoping No Way Home gives him a chance to provide some closure for his years as Peter Parker. He has spent his $13 million like any other big screen superhero, on some fine luxury cars. He has an Audi A7 worth $55,000, a Porsche Panamera worth $113,000, and a Chevy Equinox LTZ worth $27,000. I wonder how many cars he'd have if his Spider-Man was the one to join the MCU. Apparently he thinks his Peter wouldn't have cared for Tony Stark. Spidey is part of Team Cap in Civil War. Game changer. Garfield is having a bit of a resurgence in his career right now, thanks to movies like Tick Tick Boom and The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Hopefully a little Spidey cameo will bring him all the way back. Even though Zendaya is one of the biggest names in Hollywood, it really feels like her career is just getting started. It began small, with roles in things like iCarly toy commercials, though this led to a role in Disney's Shake It Up. After that, it led to a solo music career, a Disney Channel original movie, and most importantly, a season on Dancing with the Stars. So how do you upgrade from Disney Channel star to Disney movie star? By getting into the MCU, of course. She landed a role in Spider-Man Homecoming as MJ, which exploded her popularity to the point where everything she touches is gold. The Greatest Showman, Euphoria, Dune, and Malcolm and Marie are just a few of her stops along the path to certified superstardom. Honestly though, I think she's more famous for being Zendaya than she is for any role she's played so far. Basically, every time she walks down a red carpet, it is news for millions of people. Her style, grace, and tell-it-like-it-is attitude has proven to be infectious. That goes double for any post about her and real and fictional boyfriend Tom Holland. So, of course, the internet is obsessed with her car collection. She spent her $15 million on the exact kind of cars you'd think she would, like a Mercedes E-Class worth $64,000, a Lexus RC 350 worth $45,000, a Lexus GS worth $51,000, Cadillac Escalade worth $84,000, and a Range Rover Vogue worth $92,000. Chances are, as this star continues to rise, she'll amass more nice rides every year.